AITA for dropping our dinner on the ground and walking out when my boyfriend asked me, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" I was over my boyfriend's apartment this weekend and I was cooking dinner because he was studying for exams. I made pasta and a chunky sauce with meatballs and veggies. I told him dinner was ready and he goes, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" with like a lot of emphasis on the last word. I was fed up. I'd had a pretty rough day with work and I have some awfully bad associations with that word being used by other people in my life who were pretty abusive. So I was so irritated that I dropped the pot of pasta sauce I'd been carrying right on the ground and was like, "Well, nothing's for dinner tonight now. And I better not hear you using that word again, it's for the girls." He was freaking out about how sauce had landed on his rug and he even said, "You're seriously acting like a bitch right now." I dunno what else to call it. I just walked out and got takeout for myself and went to my friend's house. She thought it was funny, but my boyfriend was furious. He kept texting and calling and sending me voice memos trying to explain that saying, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" was a TikTok trend and that he was just quoting something as a joke to put on TikTok. I thought that was the shittiest excuse ever. It doesn't matter if he saw it as a joke or stole the joke, it was still disrespectful. But it didn't change the fact he thought that shit was funny to demean me when I was trying to do him a favor. Like hell, I came over when he was studying to make a home-cooked dinner and he decides it's time for jokes. So I put my phone on Don't Disturb for the night and split a bottle of wine with my friend and her roommate. The next morning he was sending me angry texts demanding I clean his rug because he was too busy with exams to do it. I was shocked he left it overnight. "That's disgusting." I texted him back saying, "Yeah, so that's the BTCH tax, honey. Leave me alone till you're ready to handle your own cooking and cleaning, because this bitch isn't anymore. Also, it's vile you left that soaking in all night." He called me and told me that he was okay with doing his own household work, but I did throw a full pot of sauce at the ground, so that's on me to clean up. I told him, "Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable doing chores for you. If you see me like your bitch." He told me he didn't and it was just a trend, and I got pissed off he was playing that TikTok trend BS excuse again. And I told him, "Well, I'm starting a trend called saucing, where as a little joke people throw pasta sauce around. You can't be mad because it's just a little trend, a little jokey joke, just a little prank, bro." He got really pissed off and hung up on me, and now I'm seriously wondering if this dumb fucking TikTok joke is gonna be the end of things between us. AITA for how I reacted when my boyfriend asked me, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" Edit to address a comment I've gotten a lot, and I don't have time to reply to it every time, but did you tell him not to call you a bitch? Like, how would he know otherwise? Honestly, if someone has gotten to the age of 30 and not realized that women, as a whole, do not like having demeaning slurs used against them, they're beyond my help. This isn't something that needs to be told. I shouldn't have to go through life like, "Hey man, just in case you were thinking I might like demeaning slurs against my gender used on me, I don't actually." And if you were about to comment something like that, let me just tell you in no uncertain terms. Women do not like being called bitches by men. Do not call women bitches. If you needed to be told that is unkind, consider yourself officially told. Now you have no excuse to not understand. NTA, and yes, your comeback was so on point. I would have thought about it after 6 months. Truly iconic. I'm really shocked that he didn't apologize, get you flowers, and beg you to take him back. Dump his ass just like the sauce. NTA. I googled the trend. And it is all about seeing how women react to a knowingly offensive comment. And usually, they are offended. These jokes aren't funny. Well, you reacted. He got his wish. Effed around and found out. He needs to grow up. NTA. Nice job, BTW, and I love the saucing response. Go find someone whose maturity and sense of humor match yours. This one ain't it. It's not the sauce that's the problem. It's the whole man. NTA. Your gut response, shock and rage at him taking you for granted, to the point of demeaning you, was the right one from the beginning. Him leaving the mess overnight expecting you to come back And clean it up just confirms it, he doesn't respect you. AITA for canceling the entire trip after finding out that my husband hid my daughter's passport. My husband and I have been together for 3 years. He has 3 kids from his previous relationship and I have one. She's the oldest, 17. He's a dedicated man, puts God first and loves everyone. My husband always complains that my daughter doesn't spend time with her step-siblings or him, but she has reasons for that, and that is school, health issues and work. She does her best to spend as much time with them as she can. But she on the other hand complains that her stepdad tells her to basically take on the role of a babysitter whenever she's with her step-siblings. My husband denied that and said that my daughter was making up excuses to not have to spend time with his kids. For this issue, I figured that a family trip is what the family need to get together and spend more time around each other's. My husband liked the idea, but said that his kids are now uncomfortable around my daughter because of her attitude and suggested we let her stay home and have the house all to herself since that's what she always wanted. I told him it's best that we all go. He kept complaining till I snapped and told him to stop. I booked, paid, for the whole family. However, my daughter told me she couldn't find her passport. We turned the house upside down looking for it, but couldn't find it. My husband said maybe it was a sign from God that we should let her stay home so the trip wouldn't turn into a disaster. I ignored his comment, but later while I was cleaning his office I found the passport tucked away in the 3rd drawer under a ton of papers. I was floored by this. I confronted him with it, and he swore he had no idea why or how the passport got there. I checked the upstairs camera and saw him enter my daughter's room. That was it for me. I screamed my head off at him, then cancelled the whole trip completely. He started arguing, saying I overreacted and that he didn't want his kids to be miserable on the trip and that willing to apologize to my daughter if and when I reconsider my decision regarding the cancellation of the trip because my stepkids will be devastated, but I said it was final and that it was done. He became cold and distant and said that he wants to take some time to do some fasting and get guidance from God about how he should deal with the disrespect and control I had displayed lately. AITA for cancelling it altogether? NTA. Book a trip for just you and your daughter. A man of God. You need to stop calling him that. It's blatantly untrue, and you need to open your eyes to his actions versus his words. He's a lying, abusive, sneaky manipulative who is trying to push out your daughter for himself and his kids. Your stepkids should be blaming him for his disgusting actions trying to ostracize their stepsister. Without the camera, he might have succeeded. Do you want to be with someone that you can't trust? Husband turns to God because of your disrespect and control. Also, husband actively disrespects your daughter by pointedly excluding her and steals her passport, which is illegal BTW, to control her ability to go AITA, but only because you let this man treat you and your daughter so poorly. NTA. I hope this isn't real because you are severely underreacting to the problem you're dealing with here. This man who puts God first stole one of your daughter's most important pieces of ID, which last I checked was a big no-no in God's eyes. And what was his justification? That your daughter refuses to devote herself to being a second mother to his children. And now he thinks he needs to tighten the reins on you too? You and your daughter need to get out before he decides to take away your access to anything else that might make that challenging. NTA. He can't use your daughter as free child care for his children. So he intentionally alienates her from his family, and yes, I said his family, because it is very apparent he does not consider your family his family. Let's see what he's done just in your post alone. Your almost adult daughter has valid reasons why she cannot spend more time, as he wants, with the step-siblings. He does not think her needs are equal or even important. Your husband orders her to babysit. She is not now, nor will ever be his beck and call servant. You wanted, booked and paid for yourself, a family vacation. He does not see her as family, since he made excuses and complained that she could not go against your wishes. He does not think she deserves to go on the family vacation, because he clearly does not see her as his family. When he could not manipulate you into what he wanted, He forced the issue himself. Then allowed you to tear through the house, causing you and your daughter stress, while knowing 100% what he did caused this. And had no problem with that. He used God's will as the excuse for something he intentionally did. Does he think he's a conduit for God or God himself? Narcissistic much? He lied about what he did, and when you called him out, he still continued to lie to you. And when you had proof, and he ran out of valid lies, he twisted it all around, saying that you are the one overreacting. When he still couldn't lie, argue, or manipulate what he wanted from you, he then turned to giving you the cold shoulder as a form of punishment to you. Oh, you've hurt my little feelings, you must adjust your ways to make me feel better. Even though this is all my fault and my own doing, but I cannot be held responsible for that. Your husband wants to control you, what you do, and what you want. Your husband wants to control your daughter, what she should be spending her time on, and forcing her to do things she cannot do. When he cannot easily do that, he uses manipulation and lying in order to accomplish it. When he is then held responsible for his actions, he turns it around on you. When that doesn't work, he throws a temper tantrum. NTA for canceling. YT biggest of for staying with your daughter's abuser though. He's a godly man? Let's break that BS down then. Commandant 8, you shall not steal. He stole your daughter's passport. Commandment 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. He stole your daughter's passport and lied about it. And if we want to be technical orthodox, Commandant 7, you shall not commit adultery. This seems like both of your second marriages. Absolutely embarrassed for you to lie to yourself to this extent about what a kind, loving, and honest man you married to. Your daughter is 17. I can almost promise you the moment she turns 18, you will no longer have a daughter anymore because she will be done with being treated like a house servant by your abusive, sexist, lying garbage bag of a husband while her godly mother watched it happen. If you actually love and value your daughter, you will hold your husband and yourself accountable and or consider a divorce based off of the gaslighting and manipulation he's displaying just from this text. NTA for canceling the trip, but you'd be kind of a bigot to keep subjecting your daughter to this man. How can she feel safe in her home when he has no regard for her feelings or her space? He should not be going into her room, period. Don't even get me started on the fasting nonsense, and to deal with your alleged disrespect. How dare he command respect when he doesn't return it?